Alright, so I'm just going to draw his A's. Shay'aanvier's A's. So it's literally one of the most important things you can do is to get the eyes right. If you don't get the eyes right, yes, it can not turn out right. So I'm using a combination of, can you see that? What's that? 7, 12s, got an 8, and obviously going to use my smudge sticks. I do use just one of them as well, just for your line work. But that's about it there. So I use a combination of this. So all the darker stuff, I'll do the 12. 12's darker. Higher the number, the darker, and softer. So do that. Now, I might start with an 8 out here. Do that. If you can hear that rattling in the background, that's my heater. So apologies for that, but it's the middle of November in Australia, and we should be having nice warm weather, and it's 15 degrees Celsius, which is cold. It's winter weather. So I actually might just come in here and get the shading in here. It's like the eyelids. So you probably want to do that before you do the eyelashes. Otherwise you're just going to smudge your eyelashes when it comes to that. It's actually darker down in here. Comes out a little bit lighter. Now there is just a touch of shade on that eye from the eyelid, so you can do that. Sorry if the shadows are getting in the way of my hand shadows. I've tried to make the lighting as good as possible, but yeah, apologies for that. That. What do you reckon? Start with 7. So here, you can see here and here, so they're the light. They're like the light reflections, so I've just done them. So that's where you don't want to go with your pencil. I'll get the 8. There is a shadow along the bottom too. Actually, I'll just get that defined a bit better. So what you see when I first started was just basically outlines with this one. So that's kind of like the tonal value that you get. And you can see how a lot darker it becomes when you start adding your 8s and 7s and 12Bs. slightly darker just down in here. And that there, don't forget that, that's like that little muscle in the corner of your eye. And that's always got a little, well, not always, but most of the time it's always got a little glint as well. That's the moisture in your eye. So I've got to find a rub stick as well. Do that. Feel free to put on any tunes that you like at home. While you watch this, it's always nice to have a bit of background music. I haven't got any on, just in case there's a copyright claim. Yeah. Now if I yell, that's my little bird biting my toes. So I've got a little bird and he's sitting on my toes right now. If I'd pan away and get a shot of him, but I can't. So Shay'aanvier's got the blue eyes too, so not quite as dark as brown, obviously, but got that kind of slate blue tone going on. I might go a 7. You can go lighter, like I've got all my other grades. Where are they? So I've got all my other grades of pencils. That's a 3B. So don't be afraid to use them either. I've got like H2, H, F, F, HB, B, and then it goes all the way up to 12B. So yeah, like I said, the B's are soft and the H, just remember H is for hard, and they go lighter. So I'm just putting in some blood vessels in his eyes. It's always nice to just give it a bit of that. 7. I might just go for a bit of 7 there. Okay, that's done to look good. Just want to blend this in just a touch more. There we go. Now this is where it kind of gets interesting, so I'm going to start with the 3. What do you reckon? So eyes have got those, that grain, I guess, or whatever they're called. I'm not too sure what they're called. I'm not an eye specialist. It's your iris, I guess it's what focuses your eye. It opens that bit up, in and out. So that's all of this I'm putting in. And make sure it's like, you know, a wagon wheel, I guess. Make sure the spokes here are always, you know, wagon wheeling. Always like, you know, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3, 9, 10. But then you can do those ones there. Like just slight ones that aren't quite right. And that's my highlight, so I don't want to go in there. So we got that. Now, where are we? So his hat also is going to have a shade across it. So I'm just going to try and mark that out a bit. It should be right, it's not going to cross his eyes too much. See, I've just done that with the smudge stick. It doesn't really press in a hard line. And then if you always need to, you can, like these lines are a lot easier to erase. But yeah, this eye you got to have a slight bit more darker in there as it's sinking back into the eye. Where are we? Where's my 12? That's the short one. There it is. Someone's trying to message me. Where's that small smudge stick? So you start getting your tones in the actual eye as well, like the coloured part of the eye. So imagine like the actual eye would come around, you know, the actual roundness would come out there. So you actually have to follow that curve. So that's for the tone of the eye, and then in here you got to do the same. Just follow that out a touch. And we're starting to get some tones and values going on in the actual iris. Is that what it's called, the iris, or is that the iris? I'm not too sure. So we can do that. See, when I've added this tone, see how like these little stripes tend to disappear a bit more? But that's okay, because that adds texture to when you do darker ones. So imagine they're like a layer down or like below. Might just give me 7. Just give them a little bit more of a howdy doody. Just embellish them a bit more. So, I mean, this is where you need a sharp pencil. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually quite blunt. Just get my sharpener. So yeah, it's quite blunt. You really want this sharp now. So this is my 12, so this is like the darkest value. See how that's a real nice sharp point now? So now you can add in those darker eye stripes, I guess is what you call them. But you can see how, hopefully you can see from that angle, the lighter ones are still in there. Just gives it a little bit more dimension. And it's also a guide as well for your darker ones, so you can go over some of the underlying ones. And then create new ones if you like. don't go into the highlight. So that's that. And now we want to get some shade on his lower. I'll just shade up here a bit better. Actually go a little bit darker, I reckon. It's quite dark up there, especially in this spot. This is where we can start adding creases in the skin, little crow's feet and whatnot. It's always important to add that. This line here is very important to add, especially on the lower eyelid. It's almost like the inside of your eyelid that kind of turns out. So that's very important to put that there too. And now down here, start adding some shading. It's going to be a highlight there because it's on the way up. Just another one there, another one there. Give it just a touch more down here. Where are we? Adding a bit of detail in here now. Sort of finer detail. So I've got like a bit of a one there, and then I've got like a major one coming through here. Like this is the major shadow line through there, which is quite dark. Don't be afraid to press really hard on this if you like, as well. There. Start to see how it's starting to glow, that eye, especially there. Not the highlight so much, but the actual eye itself is starting to get that roundness. Just add a bit more there. Really in here, that's dark. That's the bridge of his nose up there. What have we got? 12. And same with the eyelashes. The eyelashes tend to, like, so you want to go, you got to pick a point and go straight. Then in here they start going that way, and they curl down too. I mean, depending on the sex, like women have a lot more, I guess, luscious eyebrows or eyelashes. Men aren't that fussed with their eyes and whatnot. They tend to go like larger in the middle, but I'm gonna leave like a bit of a spot there, kind of like you're seeing through it, like like the camera didn't catch that angle. Yeah, and it lost just a touch of detail. Just shows a bit more of the eyelid. Where are we? 7. See how this white patch has really, it's kind of outlined it but highlighted it, I guess, like the actual eye. There's like, it's starting to get a lot like fairly dark, but I mean, it doesn't have to be that light. I am gonna just give it just a touch of, you know, just a touch like that. Don't want it too shiny either. Alright, so that's that. I just could do the eyelashes that side. Where's my 12? So he's actually looking kind of straight at me, which is, yeah, the lashes tend to like curl, like, so you can actually bring them down a touch like that. See that? And once again, they have that point where they go straight up and down. Now, women have a lot longer eyebrows, eyelashes. Again, sorry about that. See how you kind of don't want to overdo it either. You kind of just want to. They're there, but they're not there. If you know what I mean, they're not like. You know, the focus is right there, not. Yeah. You want hints of them, I guess. Like these ones down here are really good. I like, you know, there's real dark spots and then there's kind of missing spots where it's light, which is always good to add. You know, it's a lot darker up here. So that's that eye done. I might just do out through here. Just want to give it a bit of there is a, just want to give it a bit of that, just a bit of guidance where that's the highlight. And once again is more down here. So that's his eye. Yeah, this one's not so. Oh, sorry. Oh, bumped the table. Not quite as much detail in this one, but it's still important to get it right. his nose. Like that. Now, obviously on the edges his eyes are like go into that shadow phase again. Especially around, like when it wraps around like that, especially there. You imagine like exactly where you're sitting is where the light is coming from. So bang. And you'd have like a, I guess you'd glow. They're your highlights, but I guess you glow there. Once again, we'll do some blood vessels, just a couple of them, and wrap them around. Like, imagine the eye is like round, so don't just do a straight one. Like, imagine, you know, you've got to give it a bit of curvature. That adds to the getting your depth and your perception and like that 3D-ness going on. Where are we? 8. So even from that 7 to 8, I felt the difference. Like this 8 is a lot softer than that 7. And get really nice pencils too. Don't just buy cheap ones. I'm using Staedtler, but you know, they don't. I'm not sponsored or nothing by them, but yeah, I've used cheaper pencils, and they really like. It feels like they got sandpaper in them, like the cheap pencils. Whereas these ones feel like you're kind of melting butter on there. They're really smooth, really nice to work with, these ones. So just giving it that blend. Now, once again, I might just do. See, in here is going to be a lot darker. What do I want to do? Get the 7 out. We'll start doing these ones again. Just repeat that wagon wheel. Okay, now we blend that again. Don't go into your highlight. Yeah, there's just a touch more there. Okay. And I get my 12. Where's my 12? once again, we want to just I might give my 3. That's that line again, that's that. Just adds a bit more of that dimension. And so your lashes start from those points. So see where I've drawn that line? Your lashes actually start from there. Do your tonal skin tones down in here, down there, and it's going to be very dark up through here. It'll be dark in there. It's actually going to be light along there. So you want to go darker in here, give it a touch more, mark out his hat like that. More people trying to contact me. Alright, so there is a point there. It's really dark in there. Where my that's where those lashes start. Like that. There we go. I'll just put that tonal work in that lower lid here and then come back with those lashes. Darker that side. Oh, there we go. It's actually quite dark in that corner. Okay. Well, just give us a bit more darkness there. There we go. Make out his nose line now. There's going to be a highlight there, I reckon, yeah. There is another nostril there, I can just see. Just see that. It's a nostril, and that's his tip of his nose. But there you have it. I'll just finish off those eyelashes. Not too many, just yet. There we go. And that is how you draw eyes on this fellow. Jeez. Just drop my pencils. Just do the bridge of his nose, so kind of ties it all in. See, I'm just really doing this lightly with the 12. Like, I'm not pressing hard. I don't want it real hard toned through there. It's just enough so when I get the smudge stick onto it, it just blends in nicely. See that? His eyebrow start about there. That's how you do his eyes.